Hi, I'm Representative Jefferson Moss. We're just finishing up our second week here in the legislative session. I wanted to give you an update on some of the things I'm working on and where we're at in the session so far. Just a quick update on a couple of the bills that I'm personally either sponsoring or co-sponsoring. House Bill 28, Retirement Systems Amendments. As I mentioned before, that's really more of a cleanup bill. Some of the technical changes we needed to make for the Utah retirement system. We've already passed all the way through the Senate now. On the Senate committee, we'll be doing the Senate floor sometime, I'm assuming, in the next week or so. But that one should have no problem getting through. The other one that I will be speaking to on the floor this next week will be House Bill 29. This is Public Employees Long-Term Disability. This is a bill I was asked to run by Utah Retirement Systems with PEHP. Again, mostly a cleanup bill dealing with there was some vagueness in code that we needed to correct. I was able to present in committee a couple bills this week, and these are some bills that I really care deeply about, that I'm happy where we're headed with them. I think we're on the right track. The first one is House Bill 234, Compulsory Education Amendments. This is a bill that's relating to mental health for our students. The code currently just says some of the things that you can have a valid excuse as a parent for, and it says the term an illness. And I've been approached by a number of parents wanting to have a little more specificity, that we're not just dealing with physical health issues, we're also related to dealing with mental health issues. And to me, this is a very important issue for a couple reasons. One is I'm very concerned about the amount of children that we are seeing having severe mental issues relating to severe depression, anxiety, and obviously we're not wanting to give more excuses for kids that don't want to go to school. I know that in my family, at least one of my four doesn't want to go to school on a regular basis, but this is dealing with kids that really are struggling with issues. And I think for a parent, you want to do what's in the best interest of your kid, and so this gives you a chance to be able to take your child out and not have questions around whether or not that's a valid excuse. And so that bill passed through committee. It was about a 45-minute debate, very good debate, some good discussion about some of the potential unintended consequences, but ultimately I think we came to some good language that's really going to help. The other one that I had go through that committee was House Bill 236, Public Education Reference Checks. This is dealing with before an LEA hires someone in an unsupervised capacity. So that may be a teacher, but really what we're trying to get to is maybe coaches, maybe teacher aides, maybe it's a janitor, that we make sure that we do a reference check before. The code was pretty loose in how it required it. It really was more of a, hey, do your best effort. We want to say very clearly that before we allow anybody, any adult, in an unsupervised setting with children, with our students, that they do some type of a background check. And so that's really what this bill does. It passed through committee, and I'll be presenting that on the floor soon. The other bill that I'll be presenting soon is House Bill 238. This is related to the school trust fund office. So we're talking about the money that comes from SITLA. So SITLA is lands that were provided to the state through the Enabling Act at statehood to go directly to the school children in the state of Utah. Those lands are commercialized, and based off those proceeds, they go into a trust fund, which is the school trust fund. And CITFO is a new organization that is set up just specifically to manage those funds. But as we take those funds and transfer them down into the classroom, there was some questions with this new amendment, Amendment B, which 2 years ago we went through the legislature, created a new distribution formula, actually increased the amount of funding going into the classroom. I was a big supporter and actually did a lot of PR on this in both the newspaper and also on radio, to help support this effort. And as a result, last year we saw about a $20 million increase in funding going directly to the school children in our state. This year we'll see probably another $10 million on top of that. So it's doing some amazing things, but there were some technical issues around the distribution that we needed to clean up, and so I'm working on that. And then another bill that I'll be presenting this next week is the State Money Management Act. This is House Bill 219. We're making some minor tweaks there. The Treasurer's Office actually brought this bill to me, and there was some ways that they thought they could be a little more efficient with how we manage some of these funds, and actually will save taxpayers quite a bit of money with some of these changes that we're working on. So those are the bills that I'm working on right now. We're still working on a number of things. Obviously, tax reform is still a big issue. Not a lot of progress on that, but there's been a lot of discussion. And then the other one is related to UTA governance. I mentioned this in our last video. So the UTA, there was a bill that was being drafted that was going to really try to encourage a change in the UTA governance structure. This last week we actually had UTA proactively came out and changed their own structure themselves. So it's always nice when we're able to work together and come up with a good solution. So I think that's a great move. But anyway, I've appreciated all the phone calls, the emails. I've had a number of people come and join me up here in the Capitol. Highly encourage you to continue to do that. Please call me, email me. Your input is always very valuable. And thank you, and looking forward to another good week.